Anybody sign up for the public comment period?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, moving right along. Item number 1 for approval, minutes from the April 6, 2017 Human Resources and Safety Committee meeting. Take a minute to peruse, and I entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the April 6, 2017 Human Resources and Committee meeting subject to change.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second for the approval of the April 6, 2017 Human Resources and Safety Committee meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. All right, discussion, item number 1, personnel funding, fiscal year 2017-18. Seems like Mr. John Dennehy is here to present. Sir, the floor is yours.
We just passed out a handout to everyone.
Yes, I was outside, John, I'm sorry.
I just got it for you a couple minutes ago.
About that. It's a frozen pain, that view. So if I make it work. Okay. Slide over.
Commissioners, the first page of this document is the budget summary for 2017-18. See, the first column is our 2017 budget. And the next column is the original 2018 budget, which was our first run at this when we got everything put into it. Since then, we have made some revisions to that, and that's the third column over the revised 2018 budget, and then a column for the increases or decreases from 2017 to the revised 2018 budget. Then the last column, you'll see, is the personnel portion of the increases in the budget for the year. And next to some of those increases, you'll see a number in parentheses, and that's referencing the second page. You might want to tear these apart so you can follow the numbers with the explanations of them. In preparing the 2018 budget, we started with the wages, the personnel we're currently working with, and there's an increase of the 2.5% COLA that the commission previously approved for the 2017 or 16-17 year. And for 17-18, the wages have increased by 5% in total, which 2.74% of that is the CPI index from February of 2016 or 2016 to 17, which was an adjustment that was included in a revision to the personnel policy previously approved by the commission. All unfilled and new positions have been budgeted at the max hire rate from the pay plan, and they all include the highest level of insurance coverage. So we budgeted for the maximum that it could cost us. Not every employee is going to take full family coverage, which is relatively expensive. Now, referencing back to the footnotes that you see on the numbers, with the first explanation for the office of the director, purchasing, and some of the others, that's just a result of the COLAs in the 2 years, the COLA in this year, and the increase budgeted for next year, along with changes in insurance and so on. The first one is the public information in IT. You'll see it's increased by 173.3. That's a result of two things. First, Mr. Sellers assumed the position of the Public Information Officer. He was moved from the Planning and Construction Division to a separate division, and that his position in Planning and Construction is not being refilled, so that's a shift from one line to another. The second one is a IT tech position that was created in this fiscal year and carrying over to next year. It was an unbudgeted position last year at this time. Number two, in the finance area, a year ago, we had a position eliminated in the finance area that was transferred to planning and construction. And this position deals mostly with dealing with developers and customers who come in to pay their tap fees, and involves the seeing if there's capacity, computing the capital tap fees and taking the money for them. And this was better placed in the planning and construction division, where this particular person has better knowledge of the systems and what's available, and then coordinates with the finance department. The second one is to create a permanent customer service representative position. We have 4 full-time, and we've had 1 temporary position filled by express personnel, and we've had that historically for the past several years. And we're proposing to make that a full-time position, which the bulk of that increase would be a reduction of temporary services costs and a transfer of that to personnel costs. There probably will be some additional, we'll have some FICA and health insurance additional costs for that person. Yes, sir.
But I guess my question, since this is a replacement, do you have the net change in our effect of this adjustment?
For this particular person, no, sir, I don't have
I
that.
think, just to make the point that we did, we're striking temporary services that we've been fulfilling. And this is going to be probably a near wash based on salary and their profit versus us paying benefits.
It won't be tremendous, it'll be more expensive now, because what we pay to express personnel includes the social security taxes, unemployment taxes, and anything else that they have to pay for those employees that we're paying in that bulk rate, or that gross rate that we're paying for the person.
Now, all of these are proposed for the next budget, right? These are something that you guys are proposing for to
Some
move
are,
forward.
some are proposed, the public information and IT, those positions already exist.
Okay, right.
Those were changes in the budget.
Well, I see what
The customer service rep is a shift from a temporary to a permanent, as
Right.
is the shifting of one of the finance staff that was moved to a position in planning and construction.
Okay.
The first new position that we're proposing for next year is a customer information systems analyst. And you're all aware that we're switching, in the process of switching from the GEMS billing system to the enterprise billing system. We need a person who is fully versed in enterprise to coordinate with customer service, with the billing folks, with the cash receipt folks, and to make sure that all of them know how all the pieces of that work together, and kind of have oversight over the entire program, not the specific pieces of the program that they utilize. This is also somewhat of a succession planning position, in that one of my folks is planning on retiring in the next year to 18 months, and she right now is the person that knows how to use most everything in GEMS. So this person will be not only transitioning to the new software, but helping transition so that doesn't become problematic in the finance area.
So are you looking for a person to replace the retiree, or are you looking for a whole new position?
It would be, well, it would eventually replace the retiree. I wouldn't intend to refill that position once they retire. There would be in effect, duplicate positions for some period of time especially during the transition of the softwares.
Because I thought we transitioned to the software to make it easier.
It is easier, but it's
It's not easier if we have to hire another person to kind of help oversee the software that was supposed to be easier.
much of it
It's a
is going to.
startup, it's a startup kind of situation for the time being, but there will be a transition as we go through startup, making a lot of the reports, management reports, supervisor reports, working out the kinks in the software, because with any new software application, you know how it is, you always wind up, there's little pieces that you have to customize to your application. We get to that point with this individual, and as this individual is kind of working their way through that, the way I understand from what John's been telling me, then when our other individual starts to exit, this person's got the skills and knowledge to easily roll into that position as her duties in startup disappear. So it's a good transition for us in the software and a good transition to us in terms of personnel replacement. It makes good sense the way they've got it laid out.
That sounds good in theory, but in actuality, once you have the position on board, the position never ever.
But the plan is that,
Well, the only way I think you can do that is you can have an engine as when that plan, when you hire for the customer service information system analyst, you can say not to exceed how many years, and then that automatically it'll drop off. But basically, if Mr. Doherty leave or you leave, that position's still gonna be there. And then we'll fill that too. That's what actually.
I see what you're saying. We just need,
We can certainly put a time limit on the position that we'll anticipate. will
If
come
that's
in.
if that's what you're trying to do,
yeah,
if that's how you're trying to do it.
yeah, that works.
But I'm okay, go ahead. I'll be quiet.
No, that works, that makes sense.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue on.
And number 3 is the planning and construction division. There have been several new positions created in that. Well, first, one position transferred from finance to planning and construction that I've mentioned previously. We're proposing to add a project manager, an engineering tech, another utility inspector, and a GIS field technician. And this is all in anticipation of the construction that's going to need to take place to affect the CIP over the next few years. And these positions are being added with a provision that and a more enhanced fee schedule for planning and construction, for development fees, plan review fees, and so on will be developed and implemented for the next year. So these will become largely self-supporting, either through outside fees or by paying these folks salaries and benefits in lieu of hiring outside inspectors and so on.
Say that again? So you're looking at hiring, did you say 5 more people?
It's actually 4.
Four.
Okay, what may not become clear that you're out briefing on this afternoon is the planning and construction fee schedule. These people are not going to be in the rate structure in any way. They'll be paid for when a developer comes in and wants to do work, or we have work to be done, they'll be paid for out of project costs and paid for by fees that the developer will pay.
Are these going to be temporary employees? I mean, you're going to be like as needed, or?
And cap-wise, it'll be permanent, but we'll, as the chairman was saying, what we've got in mind is to start the process of charging plan review fees, like the county does, except, specialized into what we do. For each process or step in the plan review, for each time we have to go out and do inspection on a private development, it costs us money. We're basically riding that development on the backs of current ratepayers. And what we're proposing to do, and is going to be built into the rate schedule, or rate resolution this time, is fees that we'll charge back to developers.
I'm with you to the point that I absolutely agree with the plan fees. But the fees are actually covering the work that's already being done. So, but the fees aren't covering new employees. So, you see what I'm saying? So you're already doing those services.
We've got one other aspect that's going on too. We're getting into more and more big dollar capital projects. Certainly the inspections that we do and the engineering work that we do in-house is a part of developing those projects. So in addition to doing the fees for outside projects, you know, whether it's reviewing the plans or doing the inspections, the other thing is we crank up SPLOST and certain other capital projects, and we're going to be this afternoon talking about our 5-year plan of both R&R and expansion needs, and it's going to be pretty involved. So we'll talk about it then, but there will be enough work that the staff that we've got right now won't be able to sufficiently keep up with. We need a little more help, and we can get into more of those details this afternoon when Mr. Klein's here to explain how each of the positions will assist us getting these things done. But certainly as these folks work towards the implementation of our capital projects, the ones that we're doing for us, we're going to capitalize their time. So, yeah, there's new positions, but no, they're not doing the same work that they're already doing.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hard sell, with the new rate structure, we get ready.
This is not part of the rate structure.
I understand that, you know, but our constituents, unless Jay can make sure that, our public understand those things. they
Oh,
just
I see what
gonna-
you're saying.
they-
Communicate.
That's all I'm saying, it's gonna be a hard sell. Basically, it's almost a hard sell to us, as well as, trying to figure out how much is this capital, this fee gonna be, in real dollar terms, and also, how much these positions gonna cost. You know, and do you staff these positions when you get the money, or do you staff the position right away and just get, funneled back in, paid, back paid?
We staff them when the new fiscal year starts. That's when our fee resolution or our rate resolution occurs.
Right.
That's when the new fees go into effect. It gives us time to let everybody in the community know these fees are coming. Folks, get ready. And it's not all that different from what the county does now. They already charge fees similarly. We're just going to charge the stuff for what we do. And as far as the capital goes, if those folks were to walk in the door today, maybe we don't have enough to do for all of them. So we may wait on those. Again, they're going to be waiting until July 1. But now SPLOST money is already starting to come in. The projects are already going. We're already starting to drown in the work that the projects we got on board.
Part of the thing that's going on 2032 is we paid 4 Waters to put an engineer on site every day of the whole project. And while I understood the need for the engineer, I just think that if we have more projects, maybe one engineer could be doing 2 projects or 3 projects instead of us paying him to sit in his truck whenever there's a problem, he goes and.
Why would you pay an engineer?
Because of the problems we had on Armageddon.
I mean, to watch the
Armageddon.
project, certainly you want to watch what the contractor's doing, make
Yeah.
sure they're doing it right.
Well, absolutely, but in my experience, one engineer can handle up to, I don't know, 60, 70
They
million dollars worth of
can,
projects.
they can, but
Not
basically when you
few.
hire an engineer, you hire for one specific project. If you contracting out, more likely, but you had it inside, that's what he's saying, you had it inside, you can have him do this project and that project, be responsible for other projects.
But even if we hire it through the contractor, we don't require that person to be on site 24 hours or
Sure.
7 days a week. We just say, look,
Engineer
once or
service.
twice a week, you go out there and you inspect and then you identify critical elements.
Right.
But paying for some guy out there just to sit around for most of the time
Right.
is very.
I don't think that's going to be.
Well, engineering services, I don't know what it entails, it all depends on what you
In fact, that's not going to be the case. They're not going to be out there sitting around.
Well, that's not what our people are
I
gonna.
mean, he's
That's
not.
what I'm saying.
You're not gonna-
That's what I'm hearing.
That's what we're
They're gonna
trying to
sit
do.
around, they're not.
We're trying to correct what you perceive as incorrect.
Okay. I guess I'm having a tough time
Yeah.
correlating that you're presenting numbers with additional people, but there's no justification for it associated with this. I don't know if that has to do with
I see what you're saying.
the budget presentation.
Right.
But I don't see any logic behind it. All I see at the bottom of this is a $3.3 million increase in personnel costs.
Well, I said the same thing. I thought this was a proposal, as it said. The proposal not for us to do, to actually vote on it to say we're going to do it right now. But, you know, I'm thinking that's going to come later, hopefully.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with what Commissioner Ford is saying. We probably need to go back and give you guys more the absolute details. It'll take a little more, we can get that to you this evening.
That's for that.
Well,
That's for that right there.
and we need to get it so that, two things, we need to understand it, and then we need to be able to get the public to
You got
understand
to
it.
do that. If you don't, this is going to be a hard sell. This even the race that don't make a difference. People can see money coming out of their pocket, and they're actually going to see the fact that we are putting new positions on board when and they're paying fees. Well, maybe the fee is paying for it. However, they can say, well, how can't you use those fees to help subsidize not paying as much for the rate study? I mean, the rate increase. I understand that. That's somehow that's how they're gonna look at it. They're gonna look at it as money. You saving money. That savings should be passed on to them, but they are the rate payers themselves.
The fees are meant to cover
I understand that.
the services we provide to the developers.
I understand that.
They're
They
paid
look at-
directly for what they
look
do.
at us as one big organization. Period. And whatever comes out of it, and whatever they're paying, they feel that rate payers are paying for the operation of this utility. And whatever savings is realized, it should be passed back down to the rate payer. That's the way they're talking to me about it. And I think Jay will have to really sell that hard sell to the public as to, no, this is separate now. We have to have some operational costs associated, and these people, the new hires, are going to be the ones to take care of those operational things that we need to do. That's what he asked.
As part of Todd's presentation and the orientation, he presented the need as far as we're about to ramp up the production.
So we'll put it on Todd, whatever.
Right.
So that's what we got to do.
Well, I mean, he's the one going to be directing these people, so Todd did have the explanation. We'll bring him
Okay.
in this afternoon.
All right.
Clear that up.
Let's move right along. I don't want to belabor that.
One point of clarification, Commissioner Ford, is the total increase in budget is 3.3 million. The personnel portion of that is 1. It's not $3 million.
Okay.
It's not entirely personnel.
That's still $1 million.
It made,
Yes.
That's a lot of money to me.
The next one is the facilities division. You'll see that in 2017, there was actually no budget for that particular division. Those people were housed in systems pumping and maintenance in a building and grounds crew. There was a separate division created for them, and they're housed down at the annex, and those costs, that's a transfer of costs from one division to another. Number 5 is the water distribution. You'll see there's actually a decrease in salaries and wages there. That's the result of removing 2 backflow positions from the budget, as well as an administrative assistant.
Who's the administrative assistant to?
Derek Simmons.
Excuse me?
To
That's
Derek
it?
Simmons.
Gary Simmons, administrative assistant? Okay. Okay, all right.
And then the next one is,
Reposition there.
and the next one is system pumping and maintenance and the collection systems. There is an addition of an electrician and a I&I tech. As far as the electrician goes, we currently contract that out to White Electric and previously used Certified Electric. And over the past 12 months, we've spent over in excess of $100,000 with those 2 contracted firms. So we can hire an electrician at much less than that cost and still retain those White Electric for off hours, vacation, and that type of thing, or when extra manpower is needed. The IN Tech actually fills out a crew for, or fills out crews for systems and pumping and maintenance for vacation coverage, when people call in sick and so on. It's kind of a floating person to fill in for full crews. And then, again, the buildings and grounds crew was transferred from system pumping and maintenance to the facilities division during this fiscal year.
So if I'm not mistaken, we have 8 positions, new positions, and eliminated 3. So a total of 5.
Let's see.
And I think what we need is, as Ford said, was the cost and so forth contribute to this, and also the reason why we need the positions.
Yeah, you need to say how many, we need kind of a breakdown of how many of these positions are being paid for by the ratepayers,
Right,
and how many positions are being paid for by development community.
right.
Okay, that's a key thing, so that the ratepayer understands and knows that difference.
Sure.
What happens if the positions that are being paid for by the developers actually doesn't have enough money? Doesn't it then kind of transfer to the ratepayers?
Well,
I mean,
I'm not
is it-
saying that it would transfer the rate, we're gonna establish a rate, and it won't be in that rate, and then during execution, you may have to lay off, if you don't have the work, you may not keep the position,
Well, I think that.
but you're not gonna change the rate.
Okay, I agree, but then that's gonna have to be inherent in the position that they have to realize they're on an as-needed basis.
Well, they're on a project basis.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, all right.
But, I mean, when you look at this, all the projects that we have to pull together, I think you'll understand why we're doing this.
In essence, there is one position that's being transferred from a temporary position to a permanent.
All right, got it.
And there are, in finance and in system pumping and maintenance, there are 3 new positions that are rate-based. But we're losing 3 positions in water distribution that are rate-based. So that's a net zero gain.
Right.
Or net zero sum. And the remaining 4 positions are in planning and construction.
Did you count the HR position we didn't fill?
That was in there, but it wasn't really, it was budgeted last year, but that was really Jay filling that position, and it's a shifted position.
So it is a net zero
That's really,
for him?
it's really a net zero for that, too.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could, you got it on dollars, I think you need to have a chart by the
Right.
position.
Right.
I'll look that up.
Go ahead.
It should be easier for us to understand that. Get it that way.
And then the last page of this handout, Commissioners, is the breakdown by actual salaries and wages, overtime, and the statutory and optional benefits that are provided to employees. And as we discussed in the revision to the personnel policy, salaries or total salary growth is capped at 5%, and that's what's included in the budget for next year. I built this model so that we can change that growth percentage to see what the effect on the budget would be, and it really turns out to be somewhat minimal. For instance, if we put in 4.5%, the total effect on budget after all said and done would be about $34,000.
Now, is that all planning's people, or is that just the people that are in the rate pay?
That's every employee.
Okay, so we really need to reduce planning. When you do that,
They should be netted out as well.
they should be netted out because that's not part of the rate.
No.
Okay. That's almost $1 million. Okay. Any questions for Tom Hayes? Are you finished your presentation?
Yes, sir.
I think we have asked you questions throughout your presentation. Thank you for answering them, getting us going. Any further questions?
I just asked one, and this is just off the wall. Why does finance have more overtime than, say,
That's what I just happened.
I saw that too.
like, say, more overtime than, say, production?
I saw that.
If you don't know the answer, that's fine. I just kind of curious.
It just
And I have, well, my customer service folks, they sometimes will have 15 minutes to half an hour at the end of the day if they can't cash up correctly or something, and that accumulates over the course of the year. I also have, I have on-call staff too for going out, turning off meters and that type of thing for after hours and emergency calls, just like clinic, just like production does.
Well, John, any of the new positions that are being established, how much of that overtime do you think that will cut out?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, it is a hard question to answer. Speaking for my division, adding the CIS person, the customer service person, the customer service person's already here, so, and that's probably not gonna reduce any overtime by having her permanent or temporary. The effect of implementing the enterprise software versus the GEMS, I'm not certain that that's going to eliminate the 15 minutes to half an hour occasionally when somebody can't cash up right or a customer is in the lobby late or something.
But some of the value that you can actually use to justify some of these positions, you know, that particular department has very limited overtime. So like if you want 4 positions for planning, they have one of the least amount of overtime rates. So one could possibly make an argument that how do you justify those positions? It's just hypothetical question, you don't have to answer it.
I'm not sure justify the finance positions or the planning and construction position.
Questions? Further discussion, anybody? Is there an order? All right, thank you, Mr. Donahue. Appreciate it. We'll move right along. Mr. Junkin, I know you took notes for what we need to move forward.
Talking about that first one, yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Item number 2 for discussion, work-related injuries, stats by Mr. Singletary.
Good morning. Good news, there was no injuries, new injuries to report. We're still with the one injury for the calendar year. Things seem to be working good there. We do have that gentleman back to work light duty as well. So hopefully in the next month or 2, since it was such a severe injury, we'll have him completed and back to work regular duty. From
Will
these,
he be able to return to full-time employment with his injury?
yes, he could, but with a litigated claim, they normally only end one way, and that's settlement. But he is back at work, which saves us money on our indemnity side at this point, versus keeping to pay him, continuing to pay him to sit home, runs the claim up, which the settlement's gonna run the claim up as well. But anytime we can get him back in with our light duty program, we try to, just to try to control the claim. The other thing we talked about last month was the orientation video series. We were working on that. The Safety Council had to cancel their meeting last April for scheduling conflicts, so we did not get very far into that, but I do have a few different series for them to look at and view, see which ones they like the best, and from the lowest of cost to, probably some costs we don't want to run that high on. But I wanted to run it by the council because we have people from each department in there who can watch the little clips they have and see which ones are more going to be up our alley as far as what we do here at Joint Water versus, say, a construction company or some factory. So I've got a couple that I really like that I've tried to keep on the low end since we are wanting to get about 10 to 12 to hit all the parameters we need. And this would also, as we talked about, be in our yearly training for our current employees as well, once we get them all in. So that's where that stands now. I'll be presenting this to the council next Thursday at our safety meeting.
All right. Questions? Thank you, Mr. Sinclair. I appreciate it. Yeah. Item number 3, recruiting and termination stats. Ms. Lane?
Hello. All right, so the handouts that I gave to you guys today has the same information from last time, a few changes. So we now have 10 jobs posted right now. One position was removed, it was the construction crew leader, which was the internal posting. We're working on filling that spot. We're just trying to work it out between the 2 superintendents to do the transfer. So I have our applications have moved up to 548 total for this year. And I have the breakdown listed in the chart below. And I also have attached a detailed table of reasons for terminations. I went back to January 1st, 2014, so a little over 3 years. I also added the length of service so you can see how long these employees stick around before they're terminated for the various reasons, and I have it separated by department. And the way these termination codes work, it's on a case-by-case basis. So anybody that's coded as resigned, usually that's an involuntary termination. They're given the option to resign, or they're going to be involuntarily terminated. And a couple of those are from workers' comp settlements.
So what exactly has never worked?
Well, the never worked. Yeah, the never worked was actually the fleet maintenance manager that was offered the position before Mr. Lemke got that position. He changed his mind last minute. He was already in our system. He was ready to start, and he backed out. So that's where that came from.
These are the jobs that are currently being announced?
On the first.
The first chart there?
Yes, 10 total.
Oh, okay. John, when you did your presentation, didn't you mention, or did I misinterpret, that you eliminated backflow inspector? You should have said,
So are these the positions that are being advertised?
So, are you eliminating the position, but you're having an advertisement for a position?
Those need to come on.
We started the advertising before we made the decision not to fill it. We got into the budgeting process and realized we had some priorities that were ahead of that. So, yes, we advertised it, but we're not going to fill it.
So yeah, anytime, you decide to eliminate these positions when HR needs to know so we can remove them.
This is last year anyhow, I see, early last year.
Those 2 positions have actually been advertised since last July, they're not filled.
Okay.
So I'll remove those today.
Please.
I'll take it down.
Please.
And then at the bottom here, we had 2 employment offers for water distribution, utility service worker. He declined, saying he had a better offer somewhere else. And then the equipment operator failed his pre-employment screening, and I rescinded his offer earlier this week. And I also, last month, guys questioned the equipment operator. It had been posted since April 2015. When we rescinded this equipment operator's position at the beginning of or his offer at the beginning of this week, I went ahead and changed the open date to May 1st, 2017 to refresh it
And you got 25 already?
year to date.
Oh,
I don't think we've gotten any since this person's been back out, but that's year to date.
Okay, well, it seems we have a few things we need to clean up with this, and hopefully by the next meeting, we can have all this clean sheet where we are, and the budget presented as well, so then we can look at it.
I have a request.
Yes, sir.
Can you provide a calculation of the number of man-years budgeted and number of man-years used, meaning billed? Because I think we have quite a higher one.
I don't think I understand your question. That would be something payable would do, I believe. I have to find out from our company president to, if you can give me a formal request, that way I can understand exactly what you're needing, and then we can bring it to our,
John, you understand what I'm saying?
thank you.
So out of curiosity, on this executive director, there's been 41 applications. How many have been forwarded?
Well, last month, Mr. Duncan asked that, I think I had given him 11, and he wanted to see all of them, just to, see where we were. And I
Look,
did
all
forward him.
41?
So I've been forwarding
I'm not gonna interview all 41, but I want to look at all the paperwork on them, because what we asked for from our candidates was a resume and a letter of transmittal or introduction. I've been looking through those, trying to find the right match before we get into it deeper.
So the applications have dramatically, they've slowed down. I might get one every week.
Well, I also think that we can't hold these out too long, but when you do that, other good applicants move on. So you got a time period to capture this, and now also.
My problem has been, as I look through them, I've had one or two candidates that actually had the requisite experience, background to really fulfill the role that we've got in mind. But I'm also looking at their ability to be in our succession plan in a meaningful way, and we just haven't been. I've had one candidate that really, but he wouldn't have worked out from succession planning.
Right, you gotta be the right fit, I understand that. You gotta be the right fit, no matter what, still gotta be able to fit within our structure. And also be able to, with the leadership that we demand here, to be effective and successful. So I agree with you on that part. Any further discussion on this issue? Thank you, but like I said, next time we'll get a cleaner picture as to where we are, so we can move forward. And I appreciate everybody discussion on this. HR is a very important factor in this organization, because your personnel is one of the most valuable resources that you do have. All right, we seem to have come to the, executive director's update.
No update at this time.
Okay. We seem to have come to the end of our regular scheduled printed agenda. Are there any further discussion or questions or anything we need to discuss?
I don't know.
All right, well, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, motion is second for adjournment, so no further discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we stand adjourned.